What's going on, ladies and gents? Stinchus here, bringing you guys today some final thoughts on the Division Beta. Now, this video here is titled The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And when I'm going to talk into the ugly, that's more the things that really need to be looked at when discussing, or when not discussing, but when looking into the full game of the Division, because these things can really harm the process of the game. So, let's start off on a good foot here, on the good. So, the game, I feel, balances its non-Dark Zone and Dark Zone kind of mixture very, very well. You need certain levels to wield certain weapons, so you're going to have to stay out of the Dark Zone for a good time, grind up there, earn some stuff, do some missions, which are also very important, and then so you can, once you go back in the Dark Zone, you earn enough credit in there and a Dark Zone level, then you can wield your new weapon, which is honestly the best way they could go about it. So you just don't have people hoarding the Dark Zone for days on end, and the content kind of gets stale, and so there isn't enough shared space between the single player, I guess quote-unquote the single player aspect, or the non-PvP area, compared to the PvP area, the Dark Zone. So, also some good elements on top of that fact. I'm talking also on the missions here. The missions just build upon a great element of the story. Obviously, you can expand your base, the forward operations, and I guess upon that you can get more resources, things like that. But doing side missions actually is also very beneficial. You can get blueprints, you can get blueprints, you can get a lot of credit. It earns a lot of good balance towards the game and also benefits you outside of the Dark Zone. And then once you build up a good enough gear, you can hit into the Dark Zone and start building your repertoire of weapons. So, inside of the Dark Zone, some very good things are that it seems that the community itself really shuns rogue players. Now, there'll be some footage in here, or probably now, of me going on a manhunt, and by that I mean people are hunting me down because I just wanted to experience what it was like, and I fucking hated it. I straight hated it. It was like deep anal penetration from a zebra on Viagra. It was disgusting. Just the whole, like, everyone on the server just came running to us, and even when we respawned, they just kept killing us because, well, we weren't liked anymore. So I actually wound up just closing my Division game and restarting so I can get onto a new server, because it was really, really fucking annoying. And just, you know, you do it once and everyone just hates your guts, you're no longer trusted, and really, trust in the Dark Zone is a big, big thing. Now, obviously, you being a solo man, you've got to be careful of, for say, those groups and things like that, but we'll talk about in a separate video. So, just overall, the good of the community taking down those rogue agents and kind of getting payback is really good, because it builds a strong community basis, and it shows that everyone wants to progress, and kind of demoting the idea of going rogue, because you're really punishing yourself and losing out when going rogue, because you're gonna not really get the items you need, because people are gonna know where you are. Even if you go into hiding, they'll still wind up killing you in the end and take all your stuff. So other things along those lines, retrieving, taking items out of the area. That's, I think, the way they did that's very good. The minute 30 extractions, all right. I don't know if it's too long. I'm quite content with the current time. Sometimes it feels a bit long. It depends on the area, and I guess just how good of the item are and the pressure is that you're building upon you to extract this item. But they did a really good job of the extraction areas. Great cover, but there's so many routes you got to be careful of that you really do want a team with you, or you really want to find the best spot to actually hunker down and wait till the extraction area. But overall, I think they got that point very well done. You can also locate yourself, not locate yourself, but locate where the helicopter is remotely gonna generate itself, so you can kind of take cover into there or away from it, depending on your playstyle and how you just feel comfortable with things like that. So, with the good being said, honestly, there is a lot of good in this game. Like I said, the small little encounter missions that you get, like Storm the Stronghold, Save the Hostages, Virus Research, all that, great. It helps build credits, experience, team play, things like that. Those are very good elements. I just want to point out some very good key features that pretty much the main element of the game brings out. So let's talk about the bad. This isn't like the bad as in, it's awful, but as the bad, it could use a little more work, and maybe some things could be categorized into the ugly. But on that note, it could be, once again, it's really how you see this perspective, I guess, as we'll say. So, first thing I want to talk about is the entrances to the Dark Zone. Now, you can go through the checkpoints, which allow you to walk right through a fucking door, and there could be people right there. Or you can hop over those big fences that allow you into the Dark Zone, but you can't go through a checkpoint, restock, things like that. So, it's really a 50-50 on how you want to go into. Now, I haven't been attacked too many times going through there. You'll see throughout the footage during the manhunt, you'll see us kind of go in and out of things like that. You'll see me kind of spawn in. I don't know if I actually grabbed that footage, can't remember. But regardless, going in and out of that little door there could easily end up as a death trap. But in the bigger field of the game, I don't see it being too much of an issue because there are so many areas and you get 2 choices of respawn that you can probably be a smart dumbass and not pick the same spot you just died at. You know, okay, revenge might be fun, but at the same time you have to think about it. Sure, I lost some stuff, but you can go out in the field, recover, and make more, and just try to avoid areas like that. Just being very careful through those areas are just pretty much the best way, but there's something that should be done on Ubisoft's part where just there's more spawn protection, or you know, there's a certain limit until you can start seeing players. I'm not particularly sure how they can handle this, but hopefully spawn, I don't know, spawn protection, things like that. But they just really need to think of something abroad that just prevents players from spawn camping each other. Now, obviously, if a rogue is in that area, maybe there should be punishment for that if people are just going to camp it like that. It's really how they want to go about it, but I hope this doesn't become too much of an issue. So, moving on, continuing with the bad here, getting weapons is a great thing in the game. Learning their DPS and what it means can be a little confusing if you don't sit down and kind of look at it long enough. DPS is judged by the reload speed, the rate of fire, and the damage itself, along with other elements. The hip fire is also taken into account, and many, many other things. So, for someone that's looking at this, they're going, okay, this DPS is lower than this gun, so maybe I shouldn't use it. That's not necessarily the case. A sniper rifle will kind of always have a smaller DPS than some other guns, but they do hit harder, and they also have more effect at different ranges. You have to kind of take in the classification of weapon, and what you're using here, you just, I mean, if the DPS is higher in one SMG than the other, maybe look into the different attributes and what they build, and if you don't like something, then you don't really necessarily have to go for it. It is very confusing, and maybe they should change that whole DPS element. But other than that, it's okay if you sit down and you really learn it long enough and you see the attachments that can ponder onto your guns and things like that. So, in the bad, I'm going to put the whole combat system of PvP. Now, I'm not saying that the combat is bad. It's actually quite good. Now, I know I'm already confusing you. So, when in a firefight, sometimes things get a little weird. I felt when I was trying to swap weapons, the game just kind of came ill-responsive if I was aiming down sight or something. I feel that if I hit Y, or whatever your swap weapon is, it should immediately happen. I was noticing that it really wasn't all that great. I think it should just look maybe deeper into something of more responsive when you swap your weapon. Also, when trying to switch to my pistol, sometimes I'll double tap once again. I know on the console I have to do it, I'm not sure on the PC, but I would double tap Y, or if PS4 would be triangle, and it would just wouldn't bring out my pistol, and I kind of get the shaft, and it really, really sucked. So maybe they can look at kind of refining things along there. So in the bad, let's also talk about the lag a little bit. Now, Alec and I were playing for a bit, and we noticed that, well, he noticed he was lagging, and he literally became like the biggest cripple to my like, it was like I was dragging along a dead body at that point. There was one time where he was in a firefight and he was lighting someone up. He says, you know, did I just put 2 mags in this guy? What the hell happened? I go to run to clean up, you know, the kill or something. And next thing I know, the guy's dead and Alec killed him. I have no idea what the hell honestly happened. It was just fairly confusing. So maybe looking at more, I guess, different, I don't know if they can look into that, but I've seen even cases, I was watching X Factor's video earlier, and someone was just shooting him through a wall because apparently his body and himself like desynced. Shit like that happened, which was really, really weird. I've heard of movement issues on PC, things like that. Very minute things for the bad, but Other than that, it's just more the confusing elements of the game, like the health system, the skill system. That's all very confusing and maybe should be lightened a little for the people that are like, alright, what the fuck's going on here? So let's talk about the ugly. I'm gonna start off here with the AIs. Now you're gonna see some footage here of me fighting elites, and I just sometimes notice my health bar. Now I know these guys are supposed to be very powerful, but so am I. My gear is very, I think I've got like all purples and shit like that. So I'm just really I've really stacked my gear. So why is it with armor that I had that was less valuable, they were still doing like chunks of damage, and then with armor like this, they're still doing chunks of damage? It was very confusing, and maybe this will be changed in the full game with different level enemies so they won't be doing stupid amounts of damage. But this is something that can be very, very difficult for someone who is doing solo play. Sure, it promotes teamwork and random acts of teamwork, but there will be the solo moments. Obviously, it's going to happen, and there's some things that we really just need to look into, and you know, it's just really a glaring issue that if enemies can melt you like this, you're going to really struggle out in the field all the time. So, and pretty much the last thing I want to talk about is sorry about the cutout there, I started coughing again. The last thing I want to talk about was kind of the cover system. Now, not the overall system and the movement system. Sometimes I'm just talking about objects that I would walk near or try and approach for cover, and I would glitch right into them. And I couldn't get out, weird things happen like that. I know when I'd move across cars, I'll get glitched between them, and then it was easier for AIs to kill me. Things like that. I don't understand why it happened. It was just very, very strange. It obviously got me killed many times, and collision, especially in a cover-to-cover shooter, really needs a good looking at. Like, this is a blatant thing that could become a very, very stick pain in the ass come longevity of this game. If your cover doesn't work, you're pretty much dead. So they should really look into fixing collision and glitching through little crevices like that, because it was a very, very big issue. But other than that, that was pretty much it. Some glitches that I found, I couldn't open up chests, just the random lag, the animations were cut off, but I feel like those are some things that will be smoothed out anyways, because these have been brought to light by bigger YouTubers, the community on Reddit I've seen, and many, many other things like that. Or was it on Reddit? I've just seen things on Twitter. I don't know if the Reddit's probably booming if they've got one, knowing Ubisoft. But regardless, there will be issues that obviously will be fixed, I guess we'll say, hopefully. But that's pretty much my list of the good, the bad, the ugly. If you guys want to add anything to that, go ahead in the comment section. If you want to discuss something I've said, go ahead and discuss in the comment section too. It sounds like a great spot to have a good conversation. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Dangerous Moose. Thank you all for watching my Division gameplay. I can't wait to see you all out in the Division on the, I think it's March 18th or 17th that it comes out. And stay tuned for tomorrow, because I've got like over 30 worth minutes of raw footage if you guys just want to indulge on some good old fucking Division gameplay, because don't we all? Anyways, guys, I'm Dangerous, and I will see you, sexy beasts, in the next episode. Peace.